you just dropped off. I saw you still on, but I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, no, me neither. At one point, after I finished talking, it was completely silent on your end. Anyway, let's hope this works.
Yeah, well, these segments back together, so let's maybe
Okay.
just start it again. So yeah, I'm talking to Kendra Black, and she has a brand new song out, a single. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, right? It's on all the streaming
Yes.
platforms. Um, so did you didn't hear that, did you?
Not really. What was that?
Okay. Um, so we want to talk about the song Dangerless. And hello?
Hello?
You're still there, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about your new song Dangerless, and you have it out there on all the streaming services. And you were talking before about the production, so maybe we can talk about the production and who worked on it. Are you maybe?
Definitely. So I worked on the beat with the producer Enrico Tiberi from Italy, and he's the same producer that also worked on the beat of Show Me Off, one of the tracks from The Edge. And also Tonight, the first single I released. So yeah, he was very good at really putting the beat together, following what my idea was and what my purpose was in the song that I wanted to bring forward, which is basically using love as strength, as opposed to, some destructive behaviors that people often fall into when things get hard. So, really seeing love as something that makes you stronger, definitely not weaker.
Yeah, so Dangerless is like where somebody might go and do something that's kind of like they get into a situation where they're putting themselves at risk.
No, actually,
This
dangerless
relationship is,
means free of danger, so in a totally safe zone.
yeah, that was what I was trying to say. It was like, you're not putting yourself in that
Yeah,
place.
got it.
Like, yeah, sometimes people put themselves in kind of maybe a hazardous situation. It's kind of like reckless. And then what you're saying is dangerous is there is no sense of that recklessness, that you're having this connection, and it's dangerous. So it's actually positive. It's not being self-destructive. You're not kind of sabotaging yourself by doing
Yeah,
something with
that's
somebody,
definitely
right?
a good angle. It's very interesting. Thank you. No, the way I had thought of it when I created the song was basically not having, let's say, lack of danger in the relationship, but the relationship itself feeling like it lacks danger, but it can be reckless. It can be completely crazy. You know what I mean? But still, like using love and feeling dangerless in that moment because you are in a
Oh,
safe
okay.
place, basically.
So you're in a safe place, and so maybe you're doing something that's a little risque, but you're still safe.
Exactly, because the
You're in a
whole idea
you're in
of
a safe.
love is risque in itself. It's definitely not a safe
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
But really feeling dangerous because you want that person, and that's your strength, basically.
Okay. So it's not gonna hurt you, but you could have some risk involved, but it's not gonna be a bad risk, like a bad love.
Yeah,
It's more of like, if it's not a bad love, it might be risque. It might have that passion, and those things aren't bad, and but they might be a little out there a little bit, but you're not totally putting yourself in harm's way. That's the idea, right?
yeah, I guess. Although, like, I really
Yeah.
wanted to insist on the personal power you feel when your love is what's making you feel basically indestructible. When your love is so
Oh,
infinite
oh,
that that's what's giving you the strength. Like I say in the song, tonight I'm feeling dangerless because I want you, not because this is safe or because you're there for me. No, it has nothing to do with that, but because I know that I want you. So, like, I thought that was a very beautiful concept to write about.
okay. So it's kind of like the strength. Like, in order to love somebody else, you gotta love yourself. You gotta know what you want to do. And so you're saying the person is really strong in terms of they know what they want. You're feeling it, And so
Yeah, or
that's
like a
why it's
soldier
positive,
that,
right?
you know, whose motivation, what drives him is basically the love he has for somebody that he left at home while he's fighting, you know? So it's more like the push, the, you know,
Mhm.
that love gives you. So yeah, that's what I wrote about.
That's really cool. I like the idea of how you did it, and it and in the song itself, it has a lot of build ups in terms of the rhythm changes. You know, it's got kind of a slow
Yeah.
beat, but then it kind of speeds up on the drop, and it's got a lot of interesting like layering of your vocals and layering of the synth of the keyboards or the sounds, and it has a really um, interesting sound to it, like a
Thank
pop
you.
type of song. It's got a cool structure that I find it's like interesting. It's some songs that kind of like run formulas, and this doesn't seem run their formula. It seems a little different in its approach.
Thanks. That's really
I
what I
like that
was
a
trying
lot.
to achieve so that, you know, this progression would help the song really get deep under your skin.
Yeah, it's just I like the way that the whole production. So you basically came up with the original concept, and you worked with your producer to get it to flesh it out to this level, right? So you had your original idea,
Yeah.
and then you were able to kind of make it more with the different techniques that he brought to the table,
Definitely. And also, I feel like
right?
working with different people when you push your own stuff forward really helps because it can't be like you have to have somebody just like accompany it or feel it with their view, you know what I mean? Because it's very cool to put forward stuff that you really feel
Mm-hmm.
from like the depth of your heart, but you need a second person to, I don't know, add a cool drum line that you're like, okay, that's what it was missing, you know, like anything. There has to be that one element, you know, that somebody really adds on
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. That's a question. Because like if you're when you're like a solo artist, you're a solo performer, but you work with producers and multiple producers and different probably musicians and stuff that you work with. Compared to like if you're in a band, like if you're in a band, you've got your bandmates bring to the table,
Yeah.
how you actually put that together. But when you're a solo artist, you work with like maybe multiple producers. You kind of describe that. I mean, have you thought about maybe using like a
It's more
set group of
about
people? You like to go with the
building
different producers all the time.
you know, a group
Um,
of people that
and
you work with that you can trust and that you like the way they work, of course, and going back to those people, not necessarily going like from one to the other for the sake of having different content, but because you're driven to work with them and, you know, for a certain project, you may need the skills of a certain person and then another one. But honestly, like the more people you have that you can trust and that you can work with, the better. And then it's up to you as an artist to really pick and choose what to do and when and in, you know, in the smartest way of what's going on right now in the music industry.
whole album, right?
You cut off for a second. Can you repeat that,
Okay.
please? Sorry.
Yeah, the question is that this is part of a new project that you're going to have a full record, right? This goes with the Dangerless
Yes.
goes.
Although I'm not yet sure if Dangerless is going to be in the album. Probably
Oh,
yes. But
okay.
yeah, because it was released as a single, as its own thing. But it might be in the album, it might not. It's definitely in the same kind of taste as the rest of the new album and the content it has. But like, I'm really excited about everything that I'm going to be showcasing in the new project because it's even more forward than Dangerless at this point in where I am in my music career. So yeah, so Dangerless was just a taste, and the new
That's
album
cool.
is going to be very interesting. And honestly, it might feature Dangerless as well. You know, can't hurt to have it in
Hmm.
many places at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of good to have it as part of it. But you never know because if you end up building a whole record and maybe by the time you build it, maybe it doesn't fit anymore. But yeah, you never know because when I mean, I work on records and stuff, and sometimes the track list changes as you get different ideas, and then
Yeah.
suddenly, if you have a full theme, like you have, I think this album has a theme, right? It's like a full concept, right?
It does, yeah. It has a very distinct theme, which basically I will be revealing when the album is out, just because it's something that you will have to figure out as you listen to the album, which is really cool because I feel like having a theme in an album not only helps with the engagement, but also it gets you to think in a in a good,
Hmm.
carefree way, as music helps people to think. And it just adds to the whole experience. Like I'll want to listen to album A rather than album B if album A has a story or something that can get me hooked upon it, or something I can go back to.
Yeah, so I think that's really cool, the way you're thinking there, and like you said, I think we had talked, on a different conversation about how this album is kind of like a somewhat of a concept, right?
Yes.
The How much of that can you reveal? I don't want to like throw the whole thing, but how much could you tell your fans about like kind of high
Well,
level
basically,
what the idea?
the content and purpose and direction of this album is going to be to get people to really not put any brakes on who they really are, you know,
Hmm.
and really find that whatever thing that drives them and just go for it, no matter what that is, not letting anybody or anything tell them how they should feel or appear, in life. So yeah, that's all I can say.
Okay, so it's kind of like make sure you don't let people like take away your individualism or who
Or
you
more
are.
along the lines
Be
of,
who you
don't
can
let
be.
whatever surrounds you contaminate who you are, like just because something may not be I don't know, appreciated in a certain society, it doesn't mean that you can't like it, or I don't know, a genre of music or a type of art or something. So, I mean, I just made an example there, but basically staying true to who you are and using everything around you as tools to create something new and not to change your programming, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you got to let you be you. It's
Yeah,
kind of this
yeah, yeah.
idea. Yeah, yeah. Because if a lot of people come up with that, that's working on. That's a line from a song I'm actually working on. But yeah, a lot of people have the same kind of concepts in different ways. Yeah, so that's really
Thank you.
interesting in a live venues, right?
Please repeat that one more time. You cut off again.
Oh, sorry. You've been playing Dangerless in live shows,
Yes, I
right?
perform regularly in the New York City area, um, performing at Knitting Factory on July 2nd. And that show is going to be very different because it's going to be featuring the new tracks from, my project I'm currently working on. Plus, of course, the classics, such as my track with Snoop Dogg and Airpack Jet and all that. And Dangerless, of course, my latest release. But most of all, it's going to be showcasing the new stuff or some of the new stuff that I'm going to be releasing at the end of the summer. So yeah, tickets are on my website, and I hope everybody can check it out. And if they can make it, it's going to be an awesome show.
So you're gonna do some new tracks from the brand new record that hasn't come fully out yet. You're gonna have some of that, some of the new songs
Yes.
that aren't published yet, right? You're gonna play in your set. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool that people will get to hear some of the new stuff. So so are you using like when you do a live show and you get the reaction to some of the new songs? Is that kind of like do you use how people react to kind of further work on the material or decide, well, based on the
Normally
reaction, do
not,
you make
but
decisions?
of course it really helps to see how people react to your stuff because it means, that they'll like it or that they don't like it. But usually when I first create something, I don't look at reactions. I just try to create something from a place, inside. And then when it's done, I'll check to see how people like it, what people think of it, criticism, stuff to make it better before it's released or recorded. But I feel like the first step has to be you sitting with the beat and just feeling it, or with your words, and then figuring out a way of accompany it, really taking some time to create from you, because if you let people listen too early or give you recommendations too early, it can really affect a product, I think.
Yeah, because you never know. Because some people they might hear
Yeah, or
something
they may be
a
like,
brand
oh,
new
you should
song,
add a little more
and
oomph,
because
oomph,
it's like
oomph in this
it,
part. It's like, it's so like personal what everybody likes. And also me as an artist, I switch from music to music because I love listening to different things. So if you ask me what my favorite song is today or what I like about it today, it's going to be different from my answer in 2 weeks from now. I'm going to be like, oh, right now I'm really into this trap thing. You know what I mean? So it's so subjective.
oh, so yeah, so it's kind of like point in time. Yeah, so it's point in time. So sometimes you don't want to actually maybe get influenced. Like sometimes you do like you put down a track, right? And
Yeah.
it had that feeling at the time you did it, right? And sometimes you can't actually get back to it in some ways. You can keep on doing takes, and then you find out take number three is actually the best one. You could go do 10 more. And then still number three is like the best feeling it had. For some reason, you were in the zone that day. And if you keep on going at it, you can kind of like
Yeah,
get
no,
away from
definitely.
what
It's
you really
important
wanted to do.
to
Um,
really have
yeah,
different versions as well of what you're doing, to then compare and be like, okay, is it getting better or worse? Luckily,
yeah,
I
yeah,
have the version I wrote yesterday, and that was good enough. I didn't need to, you know, get crazy on it.
yeah. And you don't want to necessarily be influenced when you're trying to, like, you have your vision and you can't, sometimes don't let other people kind of detract your vision. So it's like, I can understand, what you're saying there. That's really interesting. And, yeah, it's just cool to see your project going forward and record excited this material when it fully comes together, whether Dangerless is or not. But yeah, it'd be cool either way,
Thank you.
and
I'll
it's
definitely
going to be
forward
interesting.
any links to previews and live recordings and all that. Yeah, because especially for like this project, I'm really. Mhm.
So yeah, are you putting together more
Oh,
music
I will
videos for
be.
the other tracks, or do you have additional videos already?
I will be,
In,
but it's something that'll come later when the tracks are recorded. So
yeah, because you're still working.
no, yeah, first step is the show, then it's putting the album together and releasing it, and once it's released, then we'll be releasing the music videos.
Weird, because sometimes and how they work. Some people work kind of visually, and then they come up with like the video, right when they're doing the record, and other people work traditional way. Um, but everybody works in different ways. So you find out when you talk to different artists, they have different.
Yeah.
We're gonna
You are cutting off a little bit.
do.
Uh, please repeat the last part.
It'll be everywhere. Not all.
Oh God, you're cutting off really bad. Oof, I can't understand what you're
Asking,
saying. It's very like, it comes in and out.
can you find the new material? able to hear me?
Hello? Hello? It's very like robotic. It's coming in and out. I don't really, I can't understand your words.
Are you able to hear me now?
Now seems better.
Okay. I don't know what happened with the
Okay, great. Yeah,
connection.
no, now it's fine. Now it's fine.
Sorry about that. You never know what's going on with these connections.
Yeah.
Um, so what I was asking is like where your new material is going to be found. Is it going to be like on Spotify, Apple Music, traditional
Yes, it's going to
sources
be
like?
out on Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Vivo, and of course SoundCloud. And yeah, and I'm going to be having everything up on my website, of course, KendraBlackMusic.com. And if you follow me on socials, Kendra Black Music, you can find, everything that I post and latest updates about when stuff is going to be out and where it's going to be found as well.
Are you going to be playing? I think you had said before that you're going to play some shows overseas, or you
Yes.
were going to do it in Italy, maybe? Is what you
Yeah.
were saying?
I'm leaving right after my show at Knitting Factory, Brooklyn on July 2nd. And then I'm going to fly to Italy and I'm going to have a couple shows out there throughout the month of July. And then I'm coming back at the beginning of August and I'll be in New York again.
Is there any thought to film anything you're doing in Italy, or you're just going
Probably,
to
yeah.
do?
It's definitely going to be part, not only of my shows, but also an active part of what I'm creating right now. So I'm definitely going to try and get as much inspiration as possible, and as much footage and as many like resources I can gather, basically. Because Italy is a magical place, especially for my music. I always find that it's so rejuvenating, and I can really have the mental space to create really good things when I'm there.
I also wanted to mention that your activewear is a big part of your whole project and everything you do, right? So you promote that when you're doing your shows, right? Your
Yes,
activewear.
plus it's actually made here in Italy, or designed here in Italy and then made in Europe. So yeah, it's nice to be here and have people that help me bring this to life really like see it, and see it at shows and just witness, people trying it on and being interested. And by the way, my activewear is all at my shows. So whenever people come in for the show, it's always at a reduced price compared to the website, which is something I want to like keep this way for a long time because I think it's pretty cool. You get to see the show and you get your opportunity to buy whatever you saw online that you liked, but for cheaper. So yeah,
Well,
everybody's
that's
happy.
that's the way artists today have to use the merchandising to because your streaming sales are hard to actually earn a lot of income on. Is just the way the industry is now. So
Yeah, exactly. It's
the
funny
live
because
show.
like streaming sales are basically like the, what you when you stream like a song and when somebody like downloads it from Apple Music and everything, that's how you earn. Except what we earn is definitely not enough, So you have to have
Yeah,
a lot of people
yeah,
download your stuff and stream it and all that.
yeah. It was kind of gone to I was watching this documentary, and they were talking about like Prince and how he was such an innovator, and he had realized that he wasn't making the money on the records like he did during the Purple Rain days. That
Yeah.
he'd be lucky if he could sell 100,000.
Hmm.
And he's a Prince, and so he switched to this live model where he do these live shows, and he's making like millions on the tours.
Of
And
course.
it was through the merchandising and the shows is where a lot of music people who were talking about this, his birthday was like on the 7th, were saying that he was kind of very innovative in seeing that that's the way the industry was going, that you had to come up with a way to get your material out to the people. And he started selling like records through like newspapers, through like Target, and through different alternative means and at the shows, as a way to actually get the music to the fans without going through the middlemen and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot going on in the indie, market now. That was kind of he was doing a lot of things that a lot of artists are doing now because they kind of have to. But he was seeing that it was changing. It
Yeah.
come from the time when it wasn't like that. Um, but it changes, and you kind of got to change with it.
Yeah, there's nothing you can
So it,
do but go with the flow. But also, there's a saying I heard that I really like, which is, if you don't like the business, then change the business. So I do believe that no matter what the music industry will become, good or bad, there's always a way of changing it in both directions. So the people that really want to make a difference in this industry and really are, confident and powerful enough to just be themselves to an extent where they change the way people get into the music industry and people absorb the music industry, then go for it. You know what I mean?
yeah, well, like today, the model is you get on YouTube, you get on social media, the Twitter and Tumblrs and all the different social media, Facebook, and you get to your fans directly, and then you communicate with your fans, you talk to them, you find ways to get product to them, like your clothing line, your activewear. People then feel connected to you because then they have a piece of something, art or work that you do, and I
Yeah.
think that seems to be the way people are able to move forward and still be successful, and just finding creative ways to do that.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so I think it's really cool that you've got a lot of things going on. You came from dance, so you incorporate the dance, you're doing music, you're incorporating your activewear. You've got a lot of cool things going on. You got a lot of ideas. You got a themed album coming, which is the kind of like, back in the 70s and the 80s, there was a lot of albums that were themed, and that's really interesting. I like to see that. And you got a lot of singer songwriter aspects to your music. It makes it very interesting, and I think that's why people should listen to Kendra Black, because you've got a lot of cool things going on, and you're really hitting the pulse of a lot of what's going on in music today, and I really like to see that in the
Thank
artists
you.
I talk to. So is there anything you want to talk to your fans about before we
Um,
go?
yeah, I really hope everybody can make it to my show on July 2nd at Knitting Factory. There's going to be cool people opening for me as well, like Julio Cesar, Vita Black, Simple Lovers, Talib, Luana Joy, and I think that's it. I hope I remembered everybody. And the activewear is going to be on sale. You're going to be able to hear the new songs. But most importantly, even if you can't make it to the show, if you're in music right now, just please make sure that you use your potential to the fullest and just pour it all out in everything you're creating, because that's ultimately what's going to be your gateway to success, if that's where you're going for, or success in life. It doesn't have to be in fame. It can mean success in your own personal journey. So yeah.
Those are good words to live by. I think a lot of artists out there that listen to you, there's probably a lot of people that listen to you that are musicians or singers or songwriters themselves, and they get inspired by seeing someone like you be, making it. And so I think that's really cool. It's a good to have role models that are positive and moving forward. And so I think that's really cool for a lot of the young women and men out there to see that you're doing it. And I think that's like the best kind of example you can give.
Thank you.
Right. So I look forward to your new project coming out, and as you get closer, if we can preview it and get the kinks out of this process. We're still using the new Anchor platform. We like it, and like I said, we're going to be able to include Dangerless as a segment for just to let everybody understand. The segment part of the Anchor system that allows you to attach a full song from Apple Music or Spotify is only listenable within the Anchor system. So if we send like somebody a link to this podcast and they listen to it on Anchor, they can listen to your song as a segment. If we
Got it.
include Dangerless, or we include any of your other material if we want to. This will also get published to Spotify podcast and to Apple podcast. So this will, if you go out to Spotify or Apple and you type in Phantom Electric Ghost, you'll find this podcast published within a day. and so you'll be able to actually listen to it as a full podcast. It's different than what we were doing on Experiment. You actually get to hear this as a full podcast. So that's different than what we did before. So thank you, and I'll send you all the information on it. And yeah, with this time, I think we've got it. I got it. We still had a little bit of bug, but we're moving forward. And I enjoyed talking to you. And everybody should go out and listen to Kendra Black on all the streaming services. Listen to Dangerless. Listen to her other material that's out there. You can find it on all the services: Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere, SoundCloud. Yeah, we enjoyed talking to you, Kendra, and we look forward to seeing your material get out there to the whole world.
Thank you. Same here.
Italy
Looking forward.
when you get there. Yeah, have a great time in Italy when you get there. I wish I could go.
Thanks.
See you.
Talk very soon.
Love to see you. Yeah, I'd love to see you there. I would, if I could find a way to get to a show in Italy, that would be like, that's a dream.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Okay, bye.
Bye.